Otherwise, I'm fully ready to listen.
Okay, so we are also live. That is good. Yeah, Padmashri, were you able to go through that?
Yeah, not in that detail. I just went through it once.
Okay.
And of course, there's too much of English. I had to resort to dictionary and all. So I had to stop that. Getting the idea, getting the meanings of these words that you have used, it would take a long time. But just I understood, and it is fine. Meaning, basically, you are saying it's not independent. It is a reality which is existing, so it is you call that the existing reality as an independent reality. So
yeah,
it is fine because it answered my question actually.
Okay. Very nice. So just before we proceed further, one clarification I would like to give on at least two philosophies or whatever the acharyas have said. So if we take the Madhva philosophy, basically Madhva goes by experiential knowledge. What is that you are experiencing? Is one of the best acharya you can find in the Vedantic tradition who believes in experiential knowledge. Okay, so basically if you go by that experience, you will see that both are real. The world is also real because that is Prakriti and Purusha, and Ayurveda also believes that Prakriti can never be destroyed or done something about it. It will, and even the science of where we have law of thermodynamics, matter can never be created nor destroyed, energy can never be created nor destroyed, which is exactly what Dvaita is all about. So they remain the same irrespective of what we call that as. But when you come to Advaita, the Prakriti doesn't exist. It exists as an illusion, not in real. So what Madhva did is that this is from the Narayana perspective, it seems to be the case, but as far as the Jivi goes, the Jivi cannot understand how this world comes into existence. So there's no point in calling that as an illusion because we experience that day in, day out. So you can't say the sun doesn't rise, you can't say I'm not eating, you can't say I'm not taking a bath, and I call that as an illusion or a Maya. So Shankara philosophy is a Mayavada, and Madhva philosophy is Sakshivada. You are a witness to both the Prakriti and the Purusha, whereas in the Shankara philosophy, the Prakriti is not there. It's only the Purusha. Okay, this is the first startling difference. The second startling difference here is that as per Shankara, anybody, any Jivi can gain liberation. And here Madhvacharya scores a point, better point than Shankara, that it is done on Taratamya. So the Jivi should be blessed by Sri Hari, otherwise it is not possible. So the Vishnu or Narayana or Sri Hari has to bless that Jivi, and he will test the Jivi's ability to withstand that. Whereas in the Shankara philosophy, you don't require anything like that. You can put your effort, and by your own effort you can get it. Whereas Madhva doesn't agree that a person can put his or her own effort or will or whatever, because for willing it also the Bhagavanta or the Vishnu or whatever, it should bless. So these are the two differences between the Shankara philosophy and the Madhva philosophy. So one is a Maya That means.
Can I talk now?
Yes, go ahead.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
From clarification point of view, nothing else. Shankara said Mayavada.
Correct.
Actually, it is not Maya, it is experience. That is what Madhva said. Yes, it is right. When you take for liberation, first of all, liberation itself is not understood if that is so. Liberation means what? Because it is not experiential. Nothing is known. The second one is, if the Taratamya point of view, Narayana is required to bless, to liberate. Narayana itself is some imagination. Is it not illusion?
Yes, this is where Shankara says that even that what you see is an illusion, and that is what is there in Yoga Vasistha, that whatever gods you are seeing itself is a Brahma. It's an illusion. It's not truly the case.
Yeah, that is the reason I was thinking, Vilas. This is philosophy. I agree fully. Somebody's view. It may not be pure view of either Shankara or Madhva, because we haven't heard them directly. We have no experience. It is only through books.
Now, what happens here is that this is called as recoiling, meaning you recoil yourself and feel that what is said may not be their interpretation or their statement, and that is not true, because Vivekachudamani exactly lays down what Shankara has said.
Okay, I will come to another point. See, Bhagavad Gita is common for both.
Right.
You can understand from Shankara point of view as it is jnana. From Madhva point of view, it is
Bhakti.
Dvaita.
Yes.
Yeah, Bhakti. Yeah. You can interpret the way you want it.
Correct.
That means Bhagavad Gita is not wrong. Bhagavad Gita is right, everybody agrees. Veda is right, everybody agrees. But the thing is, interpretation is different.
Correct.
Based on that day's convenience for that mind to understand.
Correct.
So that is the reason for me, there is no conflict between these two. Okay, at my level of thinking, both are equally, they have done something for taking people into spiritual path. So
right.
A Madhva telling Shankara that your philosophy is wrong is also wrong. Similarly, Shankara telling Madhva philosophy is wrong is also wrong. Then both are not spiritual people. They are only at the level of discussing and the mind level. That's it. Both are not true spiritual seekers. How can I say that other person is wrong?
No, it is not about wrong or right, but the problem here is threefold. One is that you need to arrive at a philosophy which suits you. Without that, you cannot get into spirituality. Once you are in spiritual, you don't require philosophy. But before that, you require something as a guiding principle. So you need to have that, number one.
Yes. In that case, my primary responsibility is, if I am born in any one philosophy, just try to understand that. Then immediately start learning all other philosophies. Whatever is available around you.
Correct.
And then choose whichever is convenient to you. That is what old Gurukula system.
Exactly, and that is what Bannanjay Govinda did. So he gave a look to all of them and he found that Madhva philosophy is the right philosophy. Okay. So
again, it is individual view.
In his view.
We are referring to, it is his individual view.
So now
because he is born there.
No, that's 1 second, but so the first problem is that. Second problem is that you have to select a guru. Okay. Now that is another thing. That is another thing that you have to select a guru. Third thing is that you have to practice as per what guru says.
Correct.
So these three things binds a person. That is, philosophy binds a person, guru binds a person, and following a guru binds a person. But you don't have any other choice.
Yeah, that's the best choice. Agreed.
Now you have another choice, is that don't go through philosophy, don't go through a guru, don't go through anything, and you find yourself on your own. This is another way.
That doesn't happen, right?
Yeah,
that is only Avatara Purusha can do it. No. Even they also follow some guru.
Yeah, they have to ultimately follow some guru.
Finally, Jnanam comes from Guru.
Comes from Guru. So now with this compulsions or with this kind of arrangement what we have to agree with one Guru and his teachings. So if we take Shankara, then we have to go by his teaching, whether it's called Mayavada or this Vada or that Vada. Okay, no problem. Let people call whatever it is. If we go by Madhva, then we have to go by his teachings and forget all about the rest.
Why not in the other way? My question is, try to understand the basics of all three and see which one is suitable.
No, that will
It's
never
like
happen.
when I finish my 10th, I will decide whether I need history or science or medical, something like that.
It is not so simple.
So that decision-taking power, for that you need basic knowledge. And the basic knowledge should come from like this only, teaching by the Guru. See, these are the things available, whichever is convenient to you based on your previous janma, and a lot of vasana comes. Along with that, you get a lot of knowledge also. And it's very easy for you to get into that. Either you can become Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, based on that your Varna. Similarly, spirituality also. Anybody out of 4 Varnas, you can practice spirituality. But it's based on what you are today. If you are able to understand through Guru, then Acharya Padavadate, Padam Shishya Somedhaya. Padam Brahmacharibhya, Padam Kala Kramena. We have 4 ways of 4 stages of learning. So only 1/4 comes from Acharya, remaining comes from others.
No, that is very good, but there is a fundamental problem. Actually, Lata and I, we both are reading Yoga Vasishta. If I send it to you, you will go mad, because in that, Vasishta says that there is no need for a guru. You are yourself the guru.
Vasishta says, huh?
Yeah, Vasishta says. And he says that going behind a guru is like going behind a desert, thinking that there is water there.
No, I think it says that Swamedhaya. On your own, you have to do it.
When you
But
go,
for that, you need a base, right? Aksharabhyasa is required. Some base is needed.
no, he says when you take the base, you will get immersed in that base.
No, see, for example, we have Mata, Pita, and Guru. 3 things very important for us.
Right.
3 people gives knowledge only. One person gives more of how to live, another person maybe how to earn, something like that. So combination of both will bring you to some stage of 7, age 7. After 7, only Guru gives that jnana, because then Guru is impartial. And that means father, mother means you will have biased. But after that, Guru means unbiased way he try to give. Then he understands from that what is the level of the student. And based on that, he will say either you follow what you call sannyasatva, or you follow your grihastha, based on that their interest, that vasana, they are able to understand. So that is how you are giving the right direction to a human individual before that person gets that kind of maturity in his mind. So that system is excellent, right? For that you need Guru till then. After that, I have my again experience based on what I heard. People start changing the Gurus. Up to some level of learning, one Guru. Maybe for Yoga Shastra, one Guru. Maybe if you want to learn some Ayurveda, some other Guru. Like that, you need a variety of Gurus based on their competence. Once you got the basic knowledge, maybe after the age of 18th, so Medhaya will start then. Like Bandhanja Govindacharya, he started doing it all that. When it reaches a certain age, maybe Shankaracharya time, it is maybe 12 years something. Immediately you'll get that knowledge, what is required, then you start doing Krishi in that. So that is the time on your own, like Uvempu did, Ramayana and all that. You will be on your own doing the Krishi in that, and you will get the ultimate goal, whatever you have decided. Most of the Mahapurushas, their achievement, if you see, initially they are under Gurus only. Even Rama, whomever you see, great people.
No, that is correct. But the thing is that you have to fix the philosophy of whatever the Guru is saying. So if you, whomever you are talking about, they have fixed the philosophy. So you.
But Guru gives up to some level knowledge only, but the decision maker is you only. Correct for you. You are the best decision maker for yourself.
No, decision maker is you, but you, by then you would have taken that complete philosophy for yourself. Without that, it will not work.
No, unless we understand say so-called philosophies, we can't take the decision, because there is no data point to take decision. We need to understand first.
Correct.
That's the reason those days people used to they used to follow either Madhva or Shankara based on their maturity level of mind or based on their vasana. It is even a Madhva philosopher, the Madhva person come to Shankara. This one similarly, Shankara people have gone to other side also. If you see just 200 years back, it happened. If you see South Canada, I have seen many cases like
Yes,
that.
that is there.
It's based on their convenience. There are so many people Madhvas, something same family. Yeah? Some people are Shankara. They both are happy because that time there is no conflict like this. Nanu melu, that means I am great. That understanding was not there. It's only this is convenience for me. Like in a house, one doctor, one engineer. It is their convenience.
No, that is correct. See, the thing, I think we are going somewhere else, but what I am trying to say is that in these two traditions, okay, if you take that tradition, in the case of Madhva, Hari will have to bless you. You cannot do things on your own. In the case of Shankara, you can do things on your own. Now, these are the final outcome of both. If you read Madhva Vijaya, or you read the entire philosophy of Madhva, which is undistorted, meaning anyway it is there in Kannada. So and then if you know Sanskrit and Kannada, that is sufficient.
It is written by Madhvacharya, original.
Originally, it is by the disciple of Madhva,
Okay.
who stayed with him. Okay, but then if you go through that, you will come to know 95% of what the philosophy or what he wanted to say. Just like what we are studying now about Vivekachudamani, the interpretation might be different, but the Sanskrit sloka is the same, right? In the same way, Madhva Vijaya will give you that kind of clarity. So this was written by Trivikrama Panditacharya, who moved from Shankara tradition. He embraced Madhva tradition.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I remember. Yeah.
And then he exactly put forth why he had to change from Shankara philosophy and go into Madhva philosophy. It's a very nice
experience.
Well written, well documented thing which everyone almost follows. Everyone in the sense I'm talking about, including Sri Raghavendra onwards, or whomever you want to call, or all the Udupi traditions, they go through that because it is actually demonstrative. Okay. Now when you go detailed into it, you will find that Sri Hari is the primordial. So you have to please Sri Hari through your devotion. Unflinching devotion to the Lord. Then Sri Hari decides whether you will attain moksha or not. You cannot decide whether you will get moksha or not. That's a fundamental difference. And the text what I sent, the last I have put it in bold. You will get the aspect of the divinity, but you will not be embraced. You will remain as Advaita till Sri Hari calls you.
Can you say again? You will remain as Advaita till Sri Hari calls.
No, you will remain as Dvaita.
Advaita. Okay, yeah, correct.
Till Sri Hari calls you.
Yeah.
So you don't have a choice. You as a jiva. Go ahead.
But the karma is applicable for both philosophies here, right?
No, karma.
As per karma philosophy, where is Sri Hari? Because your own karma decides where you will be going.
Okay, see what happens, I'll just tell you. Sri Hari grace will be there, so the Maya is removed and the soul is liberated. Liberation, what it means is that realization of soul's innate bliss. That is what it has carried. The Amsha. See, in the Madhva philosophy, it is majorly believed that the Amsha of that Paramatma is there.
Correct. Bimba Pratibimba.
Yeah, yes. Bimba Pratibimba. That is the major difference between Shankara and the Madhva principle. Madhva believes in Bimba Pratibimba concept. If you remove the Pratibimba, Bimba doesn't have any change.
Correct.
Okay, so if we believe that there is bimba pratibimba, bimba will remain as bimba forever.
Yes.
Pratibimba cannot become bimba.
Never.
Never. That means it is Dvaita, right? Now you have to agree it is Dvaita.
Pratibimba and Bimba, if you say it is Dvaita, there are two things.
Yeah, there are two things. So the Pratibimba
Yes.
can never become part of Bimba, right?
Correct. If you say Jiva is Pratibimba, then
Yes.
it will never become.
It will never become. So what he says,
Yeah.
what Madhva says, Yogyata is required.
Yogyata is nothing but your
Out
your
of
fate, right?
out of that 5
Your
Taratamya.
Punyaphala. Punyaphala.
No.
Punyaphala means.
Out of the 5 Taratamya, Jivi Beda, Jivi Jada Beda, Jada Beda, all that what is there,
Yeah.
based upon the Beda, the Taratamya, Sri Hari will decide what to do with that Pratibimba. So till that time, a place is reserved for him and he will stay there. He will not be absorbed into the ultimate, which is Sri Hari only. He can come towards the Sri Hari Pada, but he cannot take the place of Sri Lakshmi, which is Prakriti. She is independent, but she is dependent on Narayana.
Correct.
And then he has to wait till Sriman Narayana and Sri Lakshmi bless him.
Yes.
But he will be united with the Lord as though water on an oil or oil on a water.
Yes. Yes.
So you can't say it is not there, you cannot say it is there. This is where the Jiva ends. That's all.
He is a Sindhu, I am Bindu.
Yes, and that can never be changed. That standpoint can never be changed, and that is what is called as Dvaita.
1 minute here. When that Bindu goes to Sindhu, it will become Sindhu? Will become or no?
It will not become. There is nothing becoming there. There is nothing.
There is nothing called a drop of water and ocean. It is drop of oil and ocean. So
Yes.
it will never mix.
It will never mix.
Okay. That means the Purnamada, Purnamidam is not applicable to Madhva philosophy?
I don't now want to get into the controversial portion of it. What I'm saying is that how it works, how really.
Because I have not gone up to that depth. That's the reason it's equally interesting for me to understand.
No, I agree with you. So
Based on what all this happens is my question. Why people
Purnamada, Purnamidam will work. No, but Purnamada,
Okay.
Purnamadam will work. Purnamadaha is that Sri Hari is Sampurna, full of Purna. Just like Sri Lakshmi is there, Purnamidam.
Okay.
You as a Jivi will be like that Purnamidam. You cannot become Vishnu. For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that is the difference.
So Madhva always believes there is Sriman Narayana. He is separate.
Yes,
He is Purnatva.
He is Purnatva. Everything.
But I am Apurna, so I will never become Purna in that case because I am oil. I am not water.
Yes, you will remain as oil forever, but in
Or oil or Pratibimba. But
Yes.
I am not Amsha. I am not Amsha. Okay.
you are neither an Amsha nor you are anything. You are having the attributes of all the attributes of that divine.
Okay.
And this is the difference. I mean, the real difference of what is Dvaita is not in the standpoint of whether there are two things. It is
Yes.
Narayana remains as Narayana. You can never become Narayana. Got the point?
That is Supreme God.
So he says, if absolute becomes you, then there is no difference between you and the absolute.
Yes, if that is so, it's very good. I think the way what you explained is very, very easy to understand. That means when Narayana is different, Jivatma, me is different. In that case, only one possibility for me is go and surrender.
Exactly. And this is the...
I don't have anything. And that is called bhakti.
Yes, this is what Padma Shri keeps on stressing all the time. That
Yes,
surrender.
correct.
So this is the...
In Shankara case, you yourself is Paramatma.
Correct.
So no question of bhakti. Only you understand through your jnanam that you are that.
Correct. So Shankara talked about...
Same. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shankara talked...
Yeah, but there is a difference between what I am telling and Madhva philosophy is. I am not saying that you can never become these. Meaning, it is you. I very much believe in Advaita. But for me, bhakti is one level there that is always there. I don't think I can explain what I'm meaning there. But it is not, mine is not what I have understood of the whole spirituality journey is not the Madhva philosophy at all. It doesn't come under that one.
Okay,
For me, that Narayana is, I equate all of them. Narayana, the Brahman, everything I equate, and then for me, surrendering to that Brahman is what I am talking about as bhakti. And that Brahman is inside you, and you become that. I believe in that.
Okay.
So it is not exactly what Madhva philosophy is, and meaning that is not what my understanding is, because you keep referring to me, the word bhakti comes, you keep referring to me. So I want to tell you that it's
No. What I wanted to clarify is the bhakti is total surrender to whomever you want to surrender. Simple. So there is no difference of opinion there. But you become oil as far as that the Kshira Sagara of Narayana goes. That is what the Dvaita is all about.
But 1 minute, in Advaita, there is nothing called bhakti in Shankara philosophy.
Shankara believes in three things. One, nobody can liberate anyone. Number two, you have to put your own effort. Number three, Jnana is already there. You have to remove avidya, then you are done. That is all. Three things. Very simple. You are already that. And you don't know.
Only thing is you remove that ignorance. You are already there.
That's all. He talks about avidya. You remove the avidya, you yourself is that. You don't have to go behind something. And both of them give the simile of desert. You are trying to find water in the desert. They both give the same simile. As far as Shankara goes, you are going in the wrong direction because there is, you don't know that is a desert.
See, the problem here for me is Shankara said something. Now we are reading and all we have understood to some extent. But after that, Madhva came, he started telling that Shankara is wrong. As he made that statement, Shankara is wrong, only I am right.
No, he doesn't make that statement.
He doesn't make any
only
statement.
we make, right?
No.
That is the problem.
No.
He doesn't make that statement.
Problem is...
It is what we are understanding and making that statement and saying that they both
Yes.
All
This is something I am not able to digest this. See, those two great people have done wonderful things for India and people.
No, it is like this.
And one more thing, I want to just say my understanding of this oil, water business which we are talking about. In very simple words, I would like to say that Brahman is that all-pervading potential energy, and all of us are kinetic energy. Finally, energy is neither created nor destroyed. Even in science, that is what is proven. And kinetic energy, when it is not doing anything at all, it becomes the potential energy and it reaches there, and there is no difference between it is this potential energy has this characteristics and that potential energy has that characteristics. Once you say potential energy, it is the same potential energy everywhere. Kinetic energy, it is the same kinetic energy everywhere. So I understand the whole world philosophy in this simple scientific way. So So for me, I can't imagine something is oil, something does not mix with water. I can't really, meaning it doesn't even work with science from that perspective.
Yeah, I think this is what samanvaya between two, Shankara philosophy and Madhva philosophy. It's really convincing.
Okay, if you are convinced, then we will continue.
Oh, sorry. No. What she has, Padma Shri explained. So now I cannot make differentiation with the Madhva philosophy or Shankara philosophy with respect to her statement. That's called, I said, samanvaya.
Got it.
You please continue. I want to listen to it because it's very interesting. It's very interesting for me. Yeah.
But only one thing, I did not make that statement saying that is what Madhva philosophy. I don't know Madhva philosophy so well. It is my understanding of the spiritual world. Meaning, when I'm looking at this, trying to understand the physical world from a spiritual perspective, this is how I try to link the two of them. It has not got anything to do with anybody's philosophy. I try to link that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. It is.
No, I think, yes, today I got some energy, so I'm keep talking. You please explain, because I'm equally interested to listen to that. Otherwise, I'll be missing. Because you have something in your mind to give some knowledge. I want to take it.
No, it is fine. I don't have anything.
I don't have any arguments. It's only clarification I'm asking.
No, even I don't have any argument. The thing is like this. So, from a GV perspective, okay, if you take the GV into consideration, Shankara believes that all GV have the potentiality to liberate. Simple. So as far as
one question here, but you mentioned only Manava will have GV. What about GV of Prani? Not possible, you said.
No. When I say GV, we are talking about humans.
Only human. Okay.
Because the first thing is Narajanma. He's already clarified, right? The initial
got it.
Yeah, initial part of Vivekachudamani talks about it. So when we talk about the GV, Jagat, Ishvara, Prani can never understand all the three. So let us forget them for time being.
Yeah.
And the Jagat is a projection of the Ishvara, which is seen by GV. Now, in the case of, again, animals and all that, they will never be able to understand who they are. So that is also negated. Now we only come to humans. Okay. Now coming to human world, which is Jagat. The Jagat is a superimposition. Standing from the GV perspective, Shankara believes that this Maya can be removed by the GV alone. On its own will, it can do it, because it already has the potentiality of doing it. Okay, this is what Shankara philosophy is all about. Ultimately, if you really see from every perspective, the potentiality is there, energy is there, you understand the energy and you are that energy, there ends the matter.
Yes, what you are telling is, as per Shankara philosophy, this GV has got potential to really become finally Brahman.
Correct.
That potential is there with the GV.
Correct.
Madhva said, no, you have to go to Narayana.
Yes, you require an agent. You don't. You cannot do it yourself. That's the only difference.
Yes.
All the time.
Now, I'm asking you one question now. One person comes from, say, Western country, doesn't know both the philosophies. When you explain both the philosophies, what generally a person will understand and take the decision? What is easiest for that person to follow? You're giving up to moksha clarity, both Shankara way and Madhva way.
Now,
Based on what he will take decision now?
that is his problem.
No, I'm not asking that way. I'm asking,
See,
for a human being, You have to take some decision. Now see, I want ultimate goal of a spiritual journey. Which journey I should take, I should decide, right? Now I am
For
not
that
from
reason,
Madhva, I am not from this. Now, if I have to take, what should I do?
No, for that reason only, if you see the maximum amount from Aurobindo ashram to Ramakrishna ashram to every ashrams what are there, they believe in Shankara philosophy than in Madhva philosophy. So that there is no
correct.
confusion. You will not find any Madhva school of thoughts coming and explaining about what reality is all about. Even the same with the Iyengar tradition. Okay, so even the Visishta...
What is Iyengar tradition you are talking here about?
Visishta Advaita, Ramanuja.
No, I know. But they don't have this kind of ashrams, Ramakrishna ashram or Aurobindo ashram kind
No,
of.
and you first go and see how many Ramanuja books you will get and how many Madhva philosophy books you get as against the interpretation done from the Shankara school of thought.
Okay. Now, what you are telling is there are so many organizations in India and they promote this.
Yeah.
And a lot of promotion happens.
Yes, a lot of promotion happens. So if you from
I think you have answered my question.
Yeah. So a Westerner or anyone, forget a Westerner, anyone who go to Ramakrishna Mutt, if he picks up a book, all the 100% of the time you will find it is from the Shankara or Advaita Vedanta.
But Advaita was there even before Shankara, right? Shankara only put things together.
That is correct. So even the Yoga Vasistha is about Advaita only.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, Visishta Advaita talks about a special relationship between Prakriti and Purusha like Shakti by name of Lakshmi, and Madhvacharya refutes that also and says that there is only one Narayana and you need to be blessed by Narayana and nobody else. Simple. So now that is the reason yesterday I said GV, from the GV perspective, before we ended at 9 a.m. From the GV perspective, we are all GVs only. Okay? We don't know what is Narayana in the first place. So we can only talk from GV perspective. If you talk from GV perspective, the Madhva philosophy is that Brahman Satya, Jagat is also Satya. Because it is experienced. Anything that is experienced is Satya. You cannot call it as Mithya.
But one thing here, from Shankara philosophy also, what you experience, you know that it is experienced. And Shankara says, with respect to time, it changes. Because every moment it changes. So it is not Satya. He said it is Mithya.
Correct. It is Mithya. So
he didn't say that it is Asatya. He said Mithya. Mithya means it is changing.
No. Mithya means it is illusion.
Illusion, yeah.
Okay, it is not changing. Changing means Anitya.
Okay, illusion, yes.
It's illusion. So
yeah, that is very hard for us to believe because we are experiencing that.
So that
is a problem. Even today, we are trying our best. You say that close your eyes, take your mind here, and then meditation and all that. But we immediately mind comes back. Then you say, no, it is illusion. Don't go there. So that is kind of dhyana what we are doing. But again and again, we are attracted to that.
Yes, because that is the GV's inherent nature.
Yes, avidya, yes.
No, not avidya. As per Madhvacharya, that is the inherent nature of the GV.
Yeah, Madhva says the inherent nature, but as per Shankara, it is avidya.
It is avidya.
Thinking real and going there is avidya.
Correct. That is avidya. So
you should not think that is real, so then it is vidya.
For that reason only, what Madhva did is, he categorized into 5 parts, called as Taratamya. Not everybody will be able to understand this, that there is something called as avidya. That avidya removal is only done by Narayana, not by the GV. Simple. So his decision, so there is Madhva Nirnaya is also there. As per that Nirnaya, only Narayana can decide. You cannot decide. So at the time of death of that jivi from this body, if you are always in Narayana, then you are going to be taken to Narayana Loka. Now, if you are taken to the Narayana Loka, what Shankaracharya says is that that is itself an illusion. It's Maya. So this is where we end our discussion on Madhva versus Shankara.
Yeah, correct.
Because for Shankara,
It was good, when I have gone through that yesterday, I thought today that'll be good discussion.
yes, no, we can. I'm more than happy. What I'm saying is that a conclusion, if you just summarize and see, instead of going into the details of both of them, what is the conclusion here? The conclusion here is that in Shankara, you can get liberated yourself through your own effort.
Yes.
Simple. Let us keep it very simple. You can do it through your own effort. So there is a hope for you. In Madhva, there is no hope for you because only Narayana has to bless, and he will keep on testing your devotion to him.
Yes.
Your bhakti to Narayana should be greater than you. Correct.
Yes.
So all the Haridasa tradition, they talk about 100% surrender to Krishna or to Rama or to Narayana or to whatever. That's the difference. Now what it is called as, whether it is Narayana itself is Brahman or this one and that one, is again a conceptual. But if you just summarize, and if you bring in Ramanuja teaching, Vishishta Advaita, he says talking to Narayana is not possible. It is like a child talking to its father. It has to talk through its mother, which is Lakshmi. If you become devoted to Lakshmi, Lakshmi will then take you to Narayana. There is no straightforward approach of reaching Narayana, and that is the reason it is called Vishishta Advaita. There is Dvaita, there is Advaita also. When you reach Narayana, it becomes a Dvaita, but before that it is Dvaita. So
their first part is completely Dvaita. Second part is
Advaita. Yes.
Okay. In between. So chronologically, Ramanujacharya came after Shankara or after Madhva?
No. After Shankara is Ramanuja.
After Shankara. Okay.
And it's called as qualified monism in English, if you were to use that term. And in that write-up, I have indicated that it's called qualified monism. It's called Visishta Advaita. Okay. Now this we are talking from, not from Narayana perspective, which Padma Shri was explaining yesterday was from Narayana perspective. There is no individuality, independence and all that. But we don't know who is Narayana in the first place. So we can't talk about Narayana. What we can always refer here is from the Jivi. In the Jivi Jagat Ishvara, if we apply the rules set by all the three acharyas, if you take Shankara, if you remove Jagat, which is an illusion, Jivi also goes away, leading itself to Ishvara, and then you get connected to Parameshvara. If you take Vishishta Advaita, Jagat is part of Lakshmi. Jivi is an individual entity, so unless the Lakshmi blesses Jivi, there is no way you can understand Ishvara, forget even Parameshvara. Okay, this is the second philosophy, which is from Ramanuja. Third philosophy of Madhvacharya is Jagat has no end. Brahman just like has no end, no beginning. Jagat also has no beginning, no end. If you are a Jivi, you are going to experience both the Brahman side of it and the Jagat side of it, and you keep on experiencing that forever. It is up to Sri Hari to decide when to make you an Aikya, that is qualified. If you qualify, and there are no guarantee that you will qualify, if at all you qualify, then you get the Amsha, but you will never be able to merge with Narayana, because they can't be two Narayanas at the same time. This is the three.
But basically, actually, in yesterday's question, you misunderstood. I said when you said Jagat is independent. Okay, I thought you answered the question in that format. But then again, when you're telling about my question today, I felt now you not really understood my question.
Okay.
But anyway, that question we can park it. This one is that when you're talking about Madhva philosophy, you're telling about Brahman and Jagat, Ishvara and Jagat, and then you're talking about Narayana. Now, is it the third item that you're talking about?
No.
Ishvara,
You keep Brahman as Narayana. No problem. Whichever way you want to take it.
Okay. No, whichever way. No, you're explaining something. I'm wanting to know how you have taken.
No. Brahman, in the concept of Brahman, it is Narayana in the Madhva teaching. So when you say...
So the Jagat is dependent on Narayana.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yesterday when you mentioned, you said Brahman and Jagat are independent of each other.
Yes,
so
from the GV perspective.
Say that.
From GV perspective, I again clarify what I said. We all are talking from GV. The entire three philosophies talks from GV. They don't talk from the Brahman. From GV perspective, how is Brahman or Narayana is indicated. Okay, but what we are talking is from GV. So if you take from the ultimate, that is Brahman, it is not independent, it is dependent. There is no two terms to that. But if you look from GV, Brahman remains or Narayana remains forever, and the Jagat also remains forever. And this is what Sankhya philosophy also talk about Kapila. So he says Prakriti remains as Prakriti, Purusha remains as Purusha. Even in science, if you take thermodynamics, the matter remains as matter. It can never be created nor destroyed. Energy can never be created nor destroyed. So whatever Madhva says is correct in that standpoint. From GV perspective, again, not from the ultimate standpoint. So first law of thermodynamics itself says that matter can never be created nor destroyed, nor energy can be created nor destroyed. This is from your experience point of view.
Sorry, Vilas. What is ultimate standpoint?
Ultimate is Narayana or Brahman or whatever. Ultimate.
No, but we don't know all those, right?
Exactly.
We don't know what is Narayana. We don't know what is Brahman.
Yes.
What is ultimate standpoint? Meaning we are giving an explanation from a GV perspective, which I can understand because we are all a part of this GV.
Correct.
From the ultimate standpoint, we are saying, and then we are saying from that standpoint, it is this. We don't know
That is how it is explained, Padmash. It is not my interpretation. If yesterday your question or my answer or my what I can say comment was Brahman is Satya, Jagat is Satya, both are independent, and that is what it is. Even in if you go Ayurveda way, it talks the same thing. Prakriti is Prakriti, Purusha is Purusha. They don't intermingle, and how it intermingle nobody knows, but they remain as ever, forever. There is Anadi and Antya, they both have same. Okay, now all that we can speak is from GV perspective only. Then comes the dimension of the, what you can say, ultimate reality or consciousness or whatever we want to call that as. And
that also we can tell only from a GV's perspective.
Exactly. So now...
Not from somebody else's perspective, which we don't know.
Exactly. So he gives in Madhva philosophy, he says it is always Dvaita. If you are talking from Narayana, I will agree that there is Advaita, but it's always Dvaita. There is nothing called as Advaita at all. You will remain Dvaita forever. That's what he proves it, which is correct. Because if you look at the Prakriti Purusha and the Pralaya and all that, it is Dvaita only. There is no Advaita there. Simple. And we can only talk from GV. So now you have three philosophies or three methodologies. First methodology of Shankara, who says that the GV has a misunderstanding of Prakriti or the nature or whatever it is. It is avidya. You remove the avidya, you are yourself the refuge, and then you can liberate yourself, which means that there is the Jagat as such is a mithya, so you are coming out of that mithya. You are only Satya. There is no other Satya other than you. This is what Shankara talks about. From the GV again I am talking about. So his ultimate truth is Brahman, what he calls, is a universal consciousness. GV is the individual consciousness. So individual consciousness, by misunderstanding, has thought that it is an individual. However, it is an actually universal only. If you remove the avidya, you are universal. Simple. This is what Shankara's ultimate, whatever we are doing right now is. So GV has an ignorance. So if you remove the ignorance, you are perfect. There is nothing more to be done. Now coming to Madhva philosophy, again from GV standpoint, the Brahman or Narayana or consciousness or whatever word we can use is the source for everything, but that doesn't mean that you are going to get merged with that. It is not possible. GV remains as GV, and the universal consciousness or that Brahman or Narayana will remain as is. It will, there's nothing called as you are that or you will merge or whatever it is. That is not possible. So that is Dvaita. What happened?
I'm fully listening. You have given a very good clarification between two and also with the Ramanuja philosophy.
Yeah, so we can only talk from
Now the question is, I am human being, what should I do? Is the question. Naturally will come.
Yes. So
In my mind, whatever you are teaching now is perfectly matching.
yes. So now the thing is that why Advaita and why Dvaita, it depends on what is the experience you are going to have. So if you believe that there is avidya, and avidya is, if you remove it, you become that Tattvamasi and Aham Brahmasmi, then you are on Advaita. You have to go by that as a GV. Because the formula here is remove the Jagat, you are GV, then you will come to know that GV is nothing but a combination of Rajas, Tamas, Sattva. You increase the Sattva, you become Ishvara. That means Ishvara is seen. Once you see the Ishvara, GV goes away, so you are Ishvara. And here Madhva says that Ishvara remains as Ishvara, Parameshvara remains as Parveshvara. However, Shankara says that the experience of Ishvara itself is Parameshvara. So it dissolves. Ishvara dissolves. So they both talk about oil and water and a snake and rope. So by mistakenly you are taken it as a snake. Now in the light you are seeing it as a rope. Once you know it is a rope, you are done. Pot and clay. Once you are holding onto the pot, not knowing how the pot is made. Now you understand it is through the clay the pot is made. So you throw the pot. Now the only clay is left. You throw the clay, which is GV. Then you are in Ishvara. Simple. Whereas Madhvacharya's principle is clay is something, pot is something. Pot has happened due to its own baggages, which is called as Taratamya. And no matter how many pots goes away, clay remains as clay. It cannot go back to the original source because it cannot happen. Original source remains original, clay remains clay. The only thing which has happened is that there are no further pots. That I agree, but these two will remain as Dvaita only. Okay, so we have 2 minutes left. And this is what intellectualization is all about. This is what we can say, Vijnanamaya.
Intellectual level of, oh, you are trying to relate with this, intellectual level of understanding.
Yeah,
right?
this is Vijnanamaya Kosha.
This is jnana. So that means you are using our buddhi to take a decision.
Yes, and that 186th verse is that. So I'll just read it out so that tomorrow when we meet up it becomes easy. Anadi kalaha ayam aham swabhavaha jivaha samasta vyavahara odha karoti karmani api purva vasanaha punyani apunyani cha tatphalani. It is beginningless, anadi, with respect to time. It has the nature of ego, aham, swabhavaha, jivaha samastaha, which is the jiva or individual personality. Whatever we call a jivi, jagat, ishvara, the jivi is this intellect. Vyavahara vodha, it carries out all the activities like what we just now did from yesterday and today to find out what it is. Karoti karmani api purva vasana. It performs both good and evil action according to the previously gathered vasana. Punyani apunyani chatat phalani. It accumulates merits and demerits respectively as a fruit of these actions. So what Shankara says is that remove avidya in intellect, everything is done. What Madhvacharya says is that cannot be done. Only Sri Hari can do it for you. That's the difference. This is the difference of Dvaita and Advaita.
Clear. Good discussion.
Yeah.
We can continue tomorrow then.
Yes. Yeah. This sloka and the Jiva's experience and all that, we'll take it tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Padma Shri.
Good day, Vilas.
Thank
Bye.
you, Vilas.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Lata, you were totally silent.
Yeah, I am listening to all.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. See you.
See you. Bye.